Hello to all the Desi Australia viewers. I'm super happy to be presenting to you a wonderful artist who is Kuweni Diaz-Mendez, a Sri Lankan born, Queensland-based multidisciplinary artist whose work explores migration, memory, ritual, and identity through immersive and sensory experiences. Her latest collaboration, Insight, will make its world premiere at the 2026 Brisbane Festival, inviting audiences to reflect on what it truly means to be seen and to see. Kuweni, welcome to our interview. I'm super excited to have you, especially with the amount of work you do is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here today.
Kuweni, I have a lot of questions to ask you, and I think we would dwell into the first one. Like you were born in Sri Lanka and moved to Australia when you were about 19 years old, right? So, how has your migration, your belonging, and the experience of reconnecting with your cultural identity here in Australia shaped your artistic practice?
That's a really good question. It's like the heart of my practice. So I arrived when I was 19 to study in Australia, in Melbourne, to be precise. I came to study financial planning, and I did that, in that whole journey of belonging or what Australia asked at the time, or how I perceived it, was that I had to assimilate. So it was this journey of becoming Australian, was really assimilating to be an Australian. So studying and then going into learning, I became a life insurance underwriter. That journey was very much about changing my name so people can pronounce my name really well. And also having that kind of Western oriented thinking. So I am understood. So it was really hiding parts of myself to be understood in a world that's expecting me to be something else, to be accepted in the world. So, and there was a difficult decision that was made in 2020 was the time it happened. I had reached a high point in my career as a senior life insurance underwriter, and unfortunately, I was discriminated, bullied, and harassed at work. And at the time, there was a very hard question around whether I should, I really belonged here in Australia. And at the time, the question was whether I should go back. And what really happened was for me, fortunately, I had First Nations elders from Australia who actually invited me to a different process to listen to the land. And they held rituals for me, ceremonies, and we went through this process of listening to the ancestors and the land before I made that decision. Or they helped me. What happened was they provided me with a framework or a process to go through before I made a decision. And that was a provocation that really changed the way I view the world. So, that's very loaded, but that's what happened.
A very powerful experience that you're sharing. And what fascinates me is how you converted the experience, the pain that you faced, into something very powerful.
Yeah, it's the alchemy. Like for me now, looking back, I think that is the best thing that happened to me. Even but this is what life is about. You get these situations don't define you, but you also get an opportunity. It's like a breakthrough. So it's like a midlife break. Like, do you know how they say you have a midlife crisis, but it becomes a midlife breakthrough?
Beautifully put. So now I have a question about your world premiere installation, Insight, created with Grant and Wilkes, that explores what it means to see and be seen. So, what personal or artistic questions inspired you for this piece?
Sure. So in the last 5 years, it's very much been that process of decolonizing my whole thinking. So going back to my roots, connecting back with Sri Lanka, really owning my space in that journey, And I really wanted to explore what ritual meant in my own nation and my own identity. So I come from a, Sinhala Buddhist background.
Mhm.
So it's understanding the Sinhala Buddhist cosmology and how and what ritual, what part ritual plays in the village life, or the kind of that kind of Sinhala Buddhist sensibility. What does that mean? So and growing up there, I mean, my adult, my whole childhood and becoming an adult was in Sri Lanka. So that those roots were there, but it kind of died over that assimilation or belonging period. So it was really reclaiming those back to my own self.
Mm.
So this work very much is about belonging and, really what is it to be seen and to see? What is that internal? So I've really been, that work has been very much for me to be witnessed rather than being seen. So it's that, so what happens? So the work is a collaboration between Claire Grant. So Claire Grant and Lee Wilkes goes as this one entity. So that's why it's Grant X Wilkes. So the collaboration was between Claire, Lee, and myself. And their collaborators I felt very safe with, and I felt very much witnessed, and they understood. In the broad perspective, this is what we want migrants to be seen and understood, but not to be accepted, to into their Western dominated world. So so this is exactly what happened, and that's what insight is about: being seen and to be seen.
It's very powerful, actually. And I have to ask about your practice, which often brings together land, ritual, about the body, about natural materials, and embodied memories. So, how do these elements help you express experiences that normally is very difficult to communicate through words? They are very rich, right? Like it's very deep.
I mean, everything cannot be understood just through the mind. This
Mhm.
invitation is very much for your senses to let your mind, so inform your mind. So it's really asking those judgments to be suspended and for the senses to actually tell you what it is it's saying.
Mm.
So that is the invitation. And a lot of people who are not from our own cultural backgrounds actually feel these things, even though they have no language for it. And that has been quite a beautiful witnessing for our cultures, and also for them to understand in multiple layered ways, because art is layered all the time and there's so many meanings. And I love how people understand things in their own way from their own lens, but they also extend their lens to understand another world.
Wow. So now I'm going to come to your collaborative portrait, Homecoming, won both the Packers Prize and the Metro Arts Experimental Prize at the 2025 Brisbane Portrait Prize. So, how did the ideas and the processes, developing through Homecoming evolve into an immersive experience of insight?
So in 2020, in 2023, I went to Sri Lanka and spent 8 months there learning from the land and the ritualists and elders there. At that time, I spent a lot of time with the river. So my ancestral family is along the river. So I spent a lot of time in the river, and my son, who's also my studio assistant, captured these photographs, and that's what actually sparked a conversation and an idea. This one photograph of me being in the river and me being in Sri Lanka. We go to the river in a bathing cloth, which is not a swimsuit, and it's very, very Sri Lankan identity. And I felt at home in those clothes and in the river. So I was explaining to Claire and Lee about this and how that felt really a homecoming, really being in my own bathing cloth in the river was really coming home. And that photograph inspired Claire and Lee for us to kind of come up with another concept of me being in the river here in Australia, because that's the river that I really went to when this heartache happened. For us, rivers mean a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so for me, when this heartache happened of questioning my belonging, I went to the river a lot and I communed with the river in my own way to process this. So that is what was really. So we looked at can we bring the two worlds together, the river and the fact that the river actually helped me claim or go back home, into the body. So that was how the it got shaped.
Right. And it's so powerful actually, Kuweni, because I'm just thinking tough times always comes to people, but when you're staying grounded and when you're able to know where your identity belongs, you could always cruise through that. And I think this is one big example, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think for me, belonging is really to remain very rooted in who we are, but
Mm.
still be accepted. Or, we often use the word integration. What does integration mean? I mean, integration is to still be able to be yourself, but be in a new country and be a part of that country without reducing who you are or disowning who you are. And that's exactly what that piece of work is trying to say.
Beautiful. And as a Sri Lankan Australian artist whose work explores diasporic identity, visibility, and belonging. So, what conversations do you hope Insight will open for migrant and multicultural audiences in Australia?
Sure. So working from homecoming, going into insight, insight is very much being seen and to that kind of your own seeing yourself and to be seen by somebody else. But I'm also bringing the element of from our parts of the world the ideas of evil eye evils as like so in the singular word is asvaha katavaha hoa, which means evil eye, evil tongue, and evil breath.
Hmm.
So if you know the concept in Southeast Asia, we have this evil, the outside, that kind of casting of the evil eye.
We
So
say
I'm bringing
nazar,
that.
like because it is a kind of a ritual for us where in our homes, when something like, you've achieved something or something nice, you're all coming as a family, they use camphor or they use fire to ward off the evil eyes. Like, we have
Evil eye.
chilies and pumpkins and wow, okay.
Yes. So I'm doing that. I'm bringing that aspect to the work. So we will have these tea-like candles, like made with limes. You
Okay.
know how we turn the
Yes,
limes,
yes, yes.
and then we put the oil to burn. So we are doing so the installation will have the limes because in my Buddhist cosmology, lime and turmeric is the ritual materials we use to ward off evil eye. So
Hmm.
I'm bringing limes into the installation work, but I'm actually doing a performance of doing the ritual itself
Wow.
at the exhibition.
Very, very powerful, Kuweni. And I have to say, it's so inspiring because I've grown up in a home where we were five generations in the same roof. And I've seen my grandmom's grandmom. I've been interacting with her, and my great grandmom passed away recently. Well, it's been 5 years now. So all these are integral part of our life, and sometimes we laugh or we mock. This is all old traditions. What are you doing? But now coming to Australia, we feel we want to carry that. We don't want to miss it out. So I
Mm.
feel you're bringing to the whole world, what it means to live, to breathe, to not just express in words, but to immerse yourself with all the practices that have been beneficial, has given peace by the end of the day to all of us.
Yeah, I think ritual is a technology like AI or any other technology, but not from a technological perspective or digital perspective, but it's a method that in our parts of the world that was used for relational, to renew, to cultivate and to renew relationships. We use rituals. So I want to show or extend that because these are, vanishing. Some rituals are lost, some are continuing. So I want to integrate that into my practice so they can have a contemporary, in contemporary art for it to live longer.
We're wishing you all success, and I can't wait to see. how your events go and how your thoughts will unfold and what new is going to come. So, from Desi Australia, we are wishing you all success for the entire journey. And this is me, Sukruti Narayanan, editor of New South Wales, signing off from Desi Australia. Thank you, Kuweni. Keep inspiring us.
Thank you.